Alright YouTube, today I'm coming to you working on a 07 Buick Lucerne CXS. It's got the 4.6 liter. And we're working on a heater coil. So this car sat for about 7 months after it was in an accident. So put a new front end on it, put an 08 to I think it was 2011 front end on it. Looks 10 times better, but during that time before I could do it, it just sat and sat and sat. So one of the problems we came across, of multiple, cannot wait to get rid of the damn thing, was the heater coil, the heater core, excuse me. I had absolutely no heat in the car, and tried to do a flush on it. It worked for a minute. I mean, and chunks after chunk after chunk was just coming out. And then finally driving it, and man, I started to smell coolant, and my windows started to fog up. So it started to leak. And what I want to show you today is how I am replacing the heater core without taking the dash out. Probably not the recommended way, but you know, I really don't want to flush, get rid of all of the Freon, have that recharged, pull the dash out. There is a way to do this without doing that, and I think it's going to work. So I'm going to take you guys along the ride with me here. But here's the old one. So what you can see here is you can see all the chunks. If it'll actually focus, right? So there's just a bunch. Now let me take out here the light. Maybe that'll help you. Look at all those chunks. And actually, that's not even half of it. I mean, I had whole big ass chunks coming out. So this is the old one that I took out. And what I did was, and I'll show you what I had to remove underneath the driver's side. Essentially, this is aluminum, so this metal is very easy to kind of bend around. And honestly, all they do, and if you look at the new one, is they just take it and they kind of fold over a few pieces to hold it in. But really what keeps it sealed is just a rubber O-ring. And you can see here what my problem was is a cracked O-ring. Because I didn't even twist it or anything when I was pulling it out, and I just literally pulled it straight out like this from the actual core itself, and I have a cracked hose. So apparently that's where the leak was coming from, but regardless, this thing needed to be replaced. I paid $55 offline. It was actually off Amazon for brand new AC Donko heater core. So let me show you guys here real quick what I did to get this out. So there's obviously several pieces, and this is my uncle's car, and I can't wait to get rid of this damn thing. He had a security system put on, remote start, everything else. Pull that shit out of the way. There's a cover that goes all the way over here, and there's another one up underneath there, and then there's another one right there on the side. So let me see if you guys, get you guys some light here. So right there, that little opening, you can see that's where the heater core goes. The tubes go, get up underneath here if I can. The tubes go right up into there. Obviously you got to remove the clamps where the hoses goes into the engine compartment before you can do anything else underneath here. And I'll tell you, it's not fun. It's not easy to, there's probably a specific tool, but man, was it a pain in the ass. So once you get those out and pull those hoses off, you're going to be able to, once you get this kind of removed from in here out of the way, and pull them out. So there is a clamp that goes over this, one of the lines that go up into there. There's a clamp that goes over that, and then there is, you see that little guy right there, that's what holds the top one in place. And then what I did, I just took kind of a flathead screwdriver, and for this one, I just started to pry up the plastic, or the aluminum piece that was holding it, into the actual core itself. around each one I just pried it up, and then it pulled right out, and I just pulled it directly out of there as well. There's actually, I don't know if you guys can see it. Yeah, those holes right there at the bottom of that, where the actual lines go into, there's a couple screws there, and then a bolt there. I loosened the bolt. Those screws kind of give me just a little bit of play. You don't have to have a lot. So I went ahead and loosened those, and you're probably noticing there's something missing here. And that is going to be the gas pedal. There's actually only 3 bolts that hold it on. You got one there, one on the bottom side, and one more all the way at the top right there. Take those 3 off, unclip it, and boom, your pedal just drops out of the way, which gives you just enough space to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and prep the new one to kind of slide it in place and do the same thing but in reverse order, and I'll bring you guys along for the ride once I'm done. Alrighty, real quick, I'm getting ready. I'm prepping the new core for installation. One thing I want to point out, I went ahead and marked what the top line was and what the bottom was, because they actually do have different diameters, and I want to make sure I'm putting it in correctly. So I went ahead and marked just T for top, B for bottom, because if you notice here, yeah, you've got 2 different diameters. So make sure to keep note of that before you take this one apart. And like I said, you can see that's the new one. It's just the metal's just kind of folded over, holding it in place. So I'm going to go ahead and very carefully pry that up and get it ready for installation. Okay, I got the new one apart, and actually what I find to work really well, I just use a paint can opener. You can see, I mean, I didn't do any damage whatsoever to the pipes, and what I made sure to do was check the O-rings, make sure that they weren't damaged or anything like that in the process of me taking it off. And I used some needle nose just to straighten as best I could the actual openings. So when I go to put it in, it just slides right into place. The O-ring doesn't get caught and snagged, and then therefore causing me another freaking leak. So what I'm doing, I'm going to put this in, and I'll show you guys once it's all back in place. Alrighty, well, I got it in, got our brackets back in place. So there she is, and it's kind of hard to see, but I was able to get the corners crimped around it just like it was before. It's obviously not as pretty because now, it's been bent a little more, but it's tight in there. Should be no leaks. Got the bracket I was talking about right there. Reattached everything up there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill her up with coolant, start it up, and see how it does. Now I still have to do the passenger side driver actuator because it's always cold on that side, so that's another problem, but not near as bad as this, I don't think. We'll find out though. So let's go ahead and put some coolant in it, we'll fire it up and see how the temperature is. Alrighty, well, I got it fired up. It's up to operating temperature now. As you can see, we have no leaks whatsoever, and it is blowing out hot air on both sides. I thought the passenger side actuator was bad, but here's this thing was clogged just so bad that it wasn't allowing anything to pass through that side where the blend doors are for the passenger. So I mean, it is blowing hot air out of here. Stuck a thermostat in here just to show you what temperature at. About 160. Come back down, but it's about right. That's what the car's running at, and it's even on both sides too. And this bad boy's blowing hot. A lot better than what it was. That's for damn sure. We were in the negatives, and this thing wasn't putting out anything. So, well, that's it. I'm just gonna put all the covers back, and we'll back her out.